Oh, yeah, I still have to record videos. Hi guys, it's Mandy, and for this video I'm going to give you my first impressions of Zelda Tears of a Kingdom. So let me go put this down and let's get into the video. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Now, where do I start with Tears of a Kingdom? There's a lot to go through and I've only played about 10 hours worth of content, so I'm not gonna go too deep in the story. This is not gonna contain any spoilers for story details further on. I'm going to be talking about the beginning and a few points, but nothing spoilery. But what I can talk about is the scope of the game, some gameplay mechanics that I've been loving, and some miscellaneous stuff like the shrines, things like that. Personally, I didn't see a bunch of trailers and stuff because I wanted to go in as blind as I can, and that added to a lot of the surprises I've been seeing in the game. Like, I didn't know that it was gonna cover the sky, the land, and the underground. That was pretty wild to me. It's pretty scary underground, not gonna lie, but I can see why a lot of people love just the content and everything that this game has. It's like Breath of the Wild plus. I shouldn't say that because then people are gonna say, oh, it's just DLC, which is not just DLC. It is its own brand new game. It just uses a lot of Breath of the Wild stuff and it's set in the Breath of the Wild universe. And I like it like that because in Breath of the Wild, everything's ruined because of Calamity Ganon. So in Tears of the Kingdom, you see like the restoration process going on. I mean, yeah, it's ruined now because of Ganondorf, but it's so like cute to see everyone have like houses laid out. They have the construction materials, and I just thought that was very cute. I would love a building simulation type of game, like a side game that's just building up Hyrule. I would love a game like that. Now, like I said before, I played like about 10 hours of the game, and that's literally not even scratching the surface. I am just beginning into this world and it's just very fun, and I found myself like trying to do something and then I get immediately distracted by something else and then do that, and it just leads to a whole bunch of distractions and getting lost in this world, and then I'm like, what was that thing I was supposed to do again? Oops, I forgot. So in that aspect, getting lost in the world is literally what you do in this game, and I love it. But when saying that, the story does kind of feel like Breath of the Wild, where you could put it on hold while you go doing your thing all around the world, and Zelda's pretty much like, are you gonna do anything? I'm here waiting. It kind of gives me that vibe again, which I didn't like the storytelling in Breath of the Wild, but I feel like it was necessary for it to be like that. Tears of the Kingdom though, I'm not sure, so the judgment's up in the air on that point, but as far as I could tell, it's taken a lot of cues from Breath of the Wild storytelling, which I didn't like, so let's see what happens there. Also, Eiji Aonuma said himself in an IGN interview, don't head straight for the ending, which, yeah, don't do that. You're gonna get your butt whooped first. But he's basically saying get distracted, get creative, and most certainly have fun. And creativity is big in this game. They're already doing these outlandish rocket ships that I don't even know how they work. I saw this one on Twitter where it looked like a plank of wood with a face, and they put two rockets and then a piece of wood in the middle. I'll let you guess on what that looks like. And then they lit it on fire and made it explode. Like, that stuff you don't get in any other game. That's so creative and just so weird. And that's within like the first few days of the game releasing. And it's just very hilarious to see what people come up with. And it's really cool too. Some people do big brains and get like a whole car running or something. And I'm just like, what the heck? How'd they do that? But that's the beauty of the game, getting creative. There's very little games, especially open world ones, that let you get as creative as Tears of a Kingdom does. So it just goes to show how Breath of the Wild and thus Tears of a Kingdom has solidified its stance on open world and its impact on other open world games. Now, I'm not gonna get too ahead of myself. Let's start where all good stories start, in the beginning. Zelda is shown to be a normal person, which is something we got bits and pieces of in Breath of the Wild, but in Tears of a Kingdom, she like nerds out over these murals, and I'm just like, that is so cute. But unfortunately, it is short-lived for now, because that's when all the stuff happens, the Hyrule, the whole Ganondorf comes out, and she falls into the ruins. And also, Link himself has heavy damage on his arm. I don't know if it's permanent, and not only that, but he got implanted with someone else's arm. I mean, yeah, that gives him powers and that gives him an arm, but still, that's kind of weird if you just think about it. And even if you like leave Link on his idle mode, he picks up his hand and he looks at it weird. So it obviously has an impact on him. It's just we don't know what impact that is. But Link seems to be doing well. He's quite adjusted to this new arm, and that gives him special abilities. Now Link is awakened in Sky Island with a corrupted arm, like I said before. I won't get too nitty-gritty on what happens on this island, but it's basically your tutorial island. Now, if you know me in tutorials, I don't like tutorials, but honestly, I really like Tutorial Island. It teaches you what you need to be taught, it doesn't handhold you, it gets to the point, and it lets you experiment and think of things yourself while teaching you the base mechanics of the game. That is a perfect way to do a tutorial, in my opinion. It feels integrated into the game without feeling like it's in your face. So my favorite mechanic has to be the Ultra Hand. That's the one you're probably going to be using the most of. So basically it allows you to take random materials, put them together, and build something with it. Like if you have 2 planks of wood, you could attach them to each other, and boom, you have a bridge of wood. Like that. It's really cool, and it comes handy in a lot of places that are not just shrines, but in the open world as well. You could build boats to carts to whatever you like, even a mecha. Now some of you might be a little put off by all this building and stuff, but even the jankiest kind of builds could get you places, so don't be like too afraid of doing it perfect or anything. Just being creative and doing what you think works probably works. Now, I haven't mentioned the other abilities. I've just been harping on one. That's how big it is. But basically, there are other abilities that help you with shrines and other puzzles in the overworld. There's this ability called Ascend, which lets you go through stuff and kind of land on top, which is great for a lot of puzzles, but personally I sometimes forget I have Ascend. I don't know, it's just I don't use it as much as Ultra Hand, so it just doesn't really dawn on me like, oh yeah, I have Ascend, I could just do that, and I'm here climbing when I could have just ascended. I don't know, that's a me thing, not the game thing, but just saying that. And the next one is Rewinding Time. Now this one is useful, especially if you build something with your Ultra Hand, because I know that some of y'all be building these boats and stuff and you forget that it's on and it just moves without you and you're like, oh well, dang. I was supposed to be on that. You can use that to bring it back, but that one is really helpful and useful. Now for the next ability, I have to talk about a feature that I don't like in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, and that is weapon durability. It's back again, and oof, it's hard to get used to, but this next ability makes it a bit better, and that is the fuse ability. Now it does what the name implies. It fuses your weapon to any object. Okay, not any object, you can't fuse it with a person or anything, like cardboard boxes, rocks, flowers. I've seen different things you could fuse with your weapon, and that in turn increases the durability of that weapon. So it's a nice middle ground between weapon durability and not weapon durability. The weapons still do break even if you do fuse them, but it takes a while for them to break. And depending on what you fuse together, it could be very powerful. So while it doesn't eliminate the durability problem, I feel like they did it better in Tears of a Kingdom in some ways, so I appreciate that. Even though I hate durability, you get used to it basically. Which I didn't mention, bows and arrows, they come back, of course they do, but now you could attach items to make them stronger, like fire fruit would cause a fire, and there's one for water, things of that nature. The thing I don't really like is they don't really explain to you what an item does. You kind of just have to guess. And while yeah, that's good on paper, I don't want to waste items just guessing. So unless it says like the bomb fruit, it's hard to guess what that item does or if it does anything at all. And speaking of that, you still have to find some Korok seeds. Now there are cute scenarios where this Korok with a big backpack wants to get to his friend, which is like literally right there, but he just can't move. He's too tired. He's that tired. So you have to find a way to get that Korok to their friend. Now I've been using the method of taking my Ultra Hand, lifting him up, and walking myself to the friend, but I've seen other crazy ones. I've seen people attach rockets to these poor Koroks to get them to their friends. It's pretty crazy and I love it. Now something that Nintendo didn't mention about Tears of the Kingdom is the underground system. That is like a whole new world under there, so it just adds more content. So you have the Sky Islands, the regular islands, and then the Cavern Islands, which is a lot of exploring exploring in this game and I love it. But the underground is accessed through various holes you could jump through. Now jump carefully because it's really dark and you might hit like a rock or something. This game is low-key harder than Breath of the Wild. These enemies hit hard. I got like KO'd so many times and the most stupidest reasons too. Like there was one where I got KO'd by a tree. Yeah, the trees are enemies too. That surprised me. I was just walking on stream, you know, walking through a forest and this tree legit comes to life and I'm just like, what the heck? It's just the damn tree. It's just so terrifying. I don't know why it does this. It wasn't in Breath of the Wild. I don't know, but yeah, Wispy Woods has some competition. I'm just saying. Watch out for those hand stuff. I won't say anything more, but those are freaking creepy and crazy. Especially when they sneak up on you. They come out like going 60 miles an hour at you. It is very scary. So watch out for those. But don't let that deter you. While the game is tougher than Breath of the Wild, it still has areas where you could think differently of how you approach these enemies. Now the final thing I want to address are the people who are saying that this is a $70 DLC. While I don't like the $70 at all, I don't think this is DLC content. It is definitely a brand new game. It just takes place in the same world as Breath of the Wild. Like I don't even know why this is a thing with people. Plenty of games do the same thing. Another quick thing I want to address is the graphics. While it does look kind of sketchy at parts, especially when you're flying from the sky to the ground, there's a lot of pop-ins and things going on like that. And I can't help myself thinking, man, this game would have been damn perfection if it came out on a system that could run it well. Just think about it. If it's perfect now, imagine if it's like on a console that could run it really good. Blow people's mind. Now, I still love the game, obviously, but it goes to show that, yeah, the Switch is losing its lifespan, basically. Now, I don't know what Nintendo is gonna do with that, or Switch 2, whatever, garbage, have you, but the game runs just fine as it is on the Switch, but on the Switch 2, it could be one sexy beast. But that's just speculation. Obviously, we don't live in that world, and I don't really care, honestly. Just wanted to put that out there. The graphics look fine, the performance is fine in my opinion. In conclusion, as a person who's played all the Zelda games, Tears of a Kingdom is different from its predecessor in many ways while still having the same environment, feel, and love as Breath of the Wild. And I think that's amazing. So it basically takes all the mechanics from Breath of the Wild and gives it a nice boost to make it its own. Now I like to say, if it ain't broke, then don't fix it. Just improve on it. So anyways, that is it for today's video. I'm gonna go back to playing Tears of a Kingdom. If you liked the video, please hit that like button. I would appreciate it. And if you like my content and would love to see more, please subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. Tell me your early thoughts of Tears of a Kingdom in the comments. I would love to hear it. You can follow me on my socials in the description down below. I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and as always, play a good game. Peace, peace.